Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experience, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Joe Albomonte, the general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it. We are back.
We are back.
Okay, we are back.
Very nice.
Yeah.
With the new year.
Yes, so long, 2024.
So long. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of recap the year we had and goals going forward.
Yeah.
So we do highlights, lowlights, and just kind of a recap. To recap, so we had, just looking at my board over there, my goal was to complete 175 gigs. We did 180.
Amazing.
Which is freaking awesome.
That's great.
My goal was to book 185 gigs. So that it's always a little weird for people who are listening to the podcast. There's the gigs you do in the year, and then you're always doing sales. So you need to have a sales goal and a gigs goal. And so our gigs goal, we wanted to do 175. We did 180. We want to book more than what we're doing every year. That way you're lining up work for the next year and setting up yourself for success. So our sales goal was 185, and we hit that too. So that was a big highlight.
Absolutely. Hit our goals, surpassed our goals.
I think I wanted to do 7 team meetings. We did 5. And I wanted to add 3 DJs. We added 2. And then we also recently added 2 more.
Okay.
So we have 4 new people. We were supposed to do a staff outing with paintball. That went through the...
We will do that.
We will do that this spring.
We'll get something going. When
that
it's
fell
not
through because I got a terrible case of food poisoning.
Yes,
my whole family.
Yes, you did.
The night before. So that was bad.
Not good.
Just looking at what we're doing. We had 100... And I said at the party, I'm trying to remember. I think it was 100 and... Let me look at my speech.
While you're finding that, it was honestly great year overall. And going into 2025, I think we have some really good momentum. Yeah. From all of the events we had, all the things we have booked. I'm not sure how many we have booked. I'm not sure what number you're looking for next year already.
Yeah. So I wanted 75 5-star reviews. We got 116.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We really surpassed it on that once people started to see, like, you can get some bookings off of that. Like, people request certain DJs when they see certain names and they want certain people, and it really does help you out. And
especially if they've had a stellar experience, and that's the coolest thing when somebody reaches out. And I want to do a wedding. I want Joe to be my DJ. I want Mike. I want Chris.
I was at a wedding. They DJ'd. It was my best friend's wedding. It was the most fun I've ever had. We want him. Like, that's so rewarding. And I think some people were starting to see that this year. And I think that's a huge win.
So, that's definitely kind of goal for next year, right, is continue to grow the team, but grow the 5-star reviews.
Yes. So
my goal was 75. We did it with 116. I think a good goal would be like 125.
I think so too. If we're at 115, especially if our goal for gigs, if we're trying to do 200 events next year, I think that's a really solid goal.
Yeah. So if that's the goal, then we need to have probably the bookings goal to be around 200 as well. Mm-hmm. Or a little over 200, because I did 175, 185. So if we did 210 for bookings, that would set us up. You always want to do a little extra, so then you're growing.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good goal to reach. I mean, we didn't hit those numbers. That's the whole point of the goal, right? Is even if we come close or we hit it or surpass it, that's the goal we're going to aim for. And I think that 200 and 215 is even very solid. Yeah,
everything's got to come together. You have to have the team. You have to have the numbers of inquiries. You have to have the number of sales closings. And then, the reason the reviews is you want to deliver excellence to your customers. And if you're continuing all of those fronts, it should be a natural loop where it's like the work begats more work. So we got these reviews, everybody's raving about their experience, and then new couples are coming in and they're looking for DJs and they see these rave reviews that are fresh off the press.
Yeah.
So
it's good. It's great business. People love to see it. They go to our Instagram page. They can see the DJs. They can see just like some footage of weddings. They see pictures, photography, things like that. So I really do think that like the system's working for itself right now. And I even had a couple recently reach out They said they checked out our Instagram page. They love the podcast and just like what we're doing, just talking about weddings, and being open about it. And that's what sold the booking, was doing this podcast. So shout out to you. You know who you are if you're listening. But I thought that was really cool. I think that's a big win. And I just only started doing this recently, and the podcast, that is.
Yeah.
I don't know how many bookings we've had off it in the past, but it's nice to see that we're getting some
traction there
too. I haven't checked the analytics, but
well, and that's another thing. I think we want to make a goal of podcasting. We want to bring in more guests, have more themes, more questions, and I'd love to open it up to listeners too. Have either a call in or a question thing. They can leave a voicemail, or they can send us an email. And get their feedback on ways to improve, but also questions they have, topics they love us to see us to cover, a guest they'd love to see us have in, that sort of thing.
And then we had someone reach out from like LA or somewhere in California. Like they want to be on the podcast. It's just like we can't fly out here for that.
Yeah, I think we would just do a Zoom
like we should do a Zoom. Like we can definitely start implementing some things like that, doing virtual guests if they're interested. Absolutely do that, and just kind of do a different format, kind of switch it up from week to week and try some new things, but that could be fun.
I think so. But we'll see. So what are the things that went well besides sales, besides 5-star reviews? What are the things that went well this year?
I worked with a lot of good couples, just some good people. Everybody that I worked with, assistant-wise, like they knew what they were doing. Like we'd show up, we'd set up in 30 minutes, we'd tear down in 10. Like sometimes no words needed to be said. Like we would just do the damn job. And it was so satisfying to just show up, kick ass on the dance floor, and leave.
Yeah.
I think that went really well. And just with the capacity that I had this year, I mean, I had only done like 10 leads the last year. And then I jumped up to 28, I think, this year, which was a big jump. Not like a massive amount still, but it was a big jump. And I just thought that it went really well. Communication-wise, people were receptive. I didn't have to have, like, multiple phone calls with every couple because, like, I wasn't getting, like, my point across or getting the app across. Everything was smooth.
Yeah.
That was really nice. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, with these things, like, some of the top things are that we didn't have any negative things, right? We didn't have any negative reviews.
That's huge.
We didn't have any upset. I have a secret. It's not a secret, but it's on a separate file where I keep track of like how much we do in refunds, how much complaints we have, and then of course if we get any bad reviews, I track good reviews, positive, all that kind of stuff. We didn't get any complaints. We didn't get any. The refunds we did were because like people canceled or they dropped a service. Nothing that was really due to like us messing up.
Great.
We didn't have anything. Nobody wrote a bad review. Nobody called and complained about their experience with their DJ. That was, which is obviously very positive. That's good.
Yeah,
that's what we want. That's the goal. Obviously, the opposite. We had 116 people that were like, "Yeah, we love what you did. We love what you're doing."
Yeah,
enough to write about it in a public space.
And that speaks volumes. I mean,
yeah,
116 to 0 is pretty good.
We maintained our team the whole season. We did have a guy quit, but he gave plenty of notice, and he just needs time off. He doesn't want to,
Yeah.
But we didn't fire anybody, so that was good. We maintained our staff. We added to our staff. Those were all positive things.
Yeah, the 5 team meetings we had, I mean, people showed up. The one that we had in the office, I think, was the best one.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely try and strive for that more.
More people
this coming
in the
year
office,
in the office, if people can make it.
We did do that barbecue day. The hot
that was
dog.
Awesome.
That went
people
really well. The parking lot party.
Nice. It was nice to meet the people that work in the office next to us as well.
Gotta love getting a suntan in October.
Absolutely.
Got burned that day. It was
couple
so
dogs,
nice.
A couple 2-3 dogs. Can't beat that. DJing in a parking lot.
As far as I know, I only had positive feedback from vendors we worked with. Relationships are always really important to me. Building those, developing and maintaining those. And so I think we solidified a lot of strong relationships with like a lot of vendors, a lot of great photographers, videographers, a lot of great planners, and then also like venues too. So, I mean, that's just to me long term. You just always want to be. My goal is always to be. I want to work with somebody. I want to be somebody that people want to work with.
Absolutely.
And more than that, ideally, they get excited oh, I'm working with these guys.
Amplified's here? Let's go.
I love working with these guys. It's just so fun, easy to work with.
Setup's clean. They're in and out.
The couples
they do
love
their job.
Yeah, the couples love them.
Reliable, good service. Like and venues talk. And I've even started to see that recently in calls. It's like, well, we got recommended from the venue, the venue. And that's very satisfying. That means we're really doing a good job. Yeah,
I think so. What are the things that didn't go so well? That's the other question I have.
Yeah.
Areas for improvement. I mean, obviously, I'm always, top of my head, the first thing is just like organization.
Absolutely.
It's always a constant battle because you have so many logistical things. When you have 8 weddings in a day, that's 8 different couples, 8 different venues, 8 different like DJ setups, lighting setups, photo booth, ceremony, lots of songs, lots of music, lots of details that we're always developing and working on systems. And then on top of it is like being organized in a way that we're helping to give our people the best tools that they need to perform. And I'm still figuring that out as we grow. It's a growing pain, right? But I don't want to grow so big and so fast. I see a lot of companies have done this, where then the quality just.
That's the thing. It's like we don't want to lose that quality. Yeah. We could probably book a few more and like pull our assistants off and like let everybody go alone. But that's also just opening up for the more problems of like, I don't have this, I don't have that. And we now have 10 weddings out. It's just, you're limiting your resources and just like the potential. You're opening up the opportunity for more errors to happen. And they're going to be like possibly big errors. Like this photo booth isn't working. I have to go back to storage to get it. And they're an hour and a half away. They don't have an assistant to go do that now because we've now spread ourselves so thin. That could be a problem. And I do think that we found like a nice middle ground there. I mean, of course we had our fair share of issues. Like when we arrived and like a cable broke and just like going back or something like that.
Yeah.
It was never anything major. It was it never detrimented the entire day. A board never like broke during a wedding. So like it's hard to complain about like the small things like when everything else did go well. But like
we've had little technical things. Any
things.
DJ knows you're going to have technical issues at almost every wedding, or little things that little fires you got to put out. You know?
I think the most frustrating things for me were just like showing up to a venue for like, I don't even know, karaoke or a wedding, and just like the internet was so bad. I would feel so stressed about, is this going to work? Is this going to go right? We don't do a ton of karaoke anyway. No, I love to do it. That's the reason, fun, but like, I don't have, and even if I have a hotspot, I have a Verizon one and an AT&T one. It still didn't work sometimes. And I think just like that, the thing I don't like about this job is having that uncertainty of like, is this gonna go well? And I think I don't have that for a wedding. I know it's gonna go well. I've dealt with the adversity before. I know how to do that for a wedding. And maybe it's just so new to karaoke that I'm still just in panic mode. Like, is this gonna go well? Is the software gonna work right? Are the mics gonna work right? For a wedding, I don't feel that stress. But for like gigs like that, I was beyond stress, and it's only like a 2 or 3 hour thing. More stress than I would be a wedding.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it is crazy.
That like drunk people being able to sing the song they want to sing was stressing you out more than like, delivering just a 5-star experience to a couple on their wedding day.
Yes.
And it's because it's really what comes down to is a factor you can't control. Spotty internet service.
And just comfortability. It's like, I know the precautions to take as a DJ to make sure that even if it goes wrong, I can still make it go right.
Yeah.
For karaoke, I downloaded like the top 1,200 songs or whatever. Every top 50 list they have in the app. So like, if the internet ever stopped working, I could say, go to the the playlists that are in the app. Just don't try searching for your own stuff. But like every playlist that you see in there, I have all of those songs because they're the top 50, whatever. I have all those. Like, request those was my backup plan if that ever happened. The internet worked. Thank God, both times I did it.
Yeah.
But like,
but it could have
didn't have that many backup plans.
It could have just easily not worked.
And it would have been more difficult because did you hear what happened with Carafun?
No. Oh, and
on New Year's went out.
The server went down,
Server went down and
hundreds
of thousands of people were
Tidal as well.
Yeah.
Tidal's it's a streaming DJ service. If you want to DJ and you don't have access to music, you didn't purchase the music, you can pay subscription services like Tidal where they plug in and you basically can just pull the music right on and DJ with it immediately. You're basically streaming to DJ. It's not the way to go
unless you have the best internet service. Sure. But you're never going to have that when you're traveling to multiple venues. It's not reliable.
We didn't have that problem. My wedding went great. Your wedding went great.
It was great.
Yeah. Because we had our music prepped. We had our music backed up. We didn't rely. Internet's a great tool, but it's not a for sure.
Yeah. Side story about the wedding that I did on New Year's before we get back into it. They had cold sparks at the wedding the other day. The owner of the venue, I think her husband was walking around and he was really excited about him and he was telling us about him. And he was like, guys, if I'm not here, I want you to press the button. And I'm like, I am not liable for fires.
We don't do cold sparks.
I'm not touching any equipment. That's not mine. I'm so sorry. But I really want to see them. So I will let you know 10 minutes before first dance. Like, let's do that. Let's absolutely do that. And he's warming up the cold sparks during dinner. Like, they have to sit on for 10 minutes before you can hit the button.
Yeah.
And during dinner, he's in the other room. There's another wedding going on in the room behind. And, like, the button's in his pocket somewhere. And it hits and it triggers. And one of the cold sparks, for like a minute, was just firing just out into the open right next to dinner. Yes, during dinner, just firing out into the open.
Oh no!
And the groom put his hand over it, and he's like, "Guys, it's okay. Like they're cold. Like it's fine. Yada yada." But still, one, I didn't want to be liable for that button, and two, it went off at a very inopportune time. His whole thing was like, "I need to do it during the first dance. It'll be great." Yada yada, and then he ended up doing it during the first dance as well, but only one of the sides lit and. It looks cool, but also there's so many things that can go wrong. One of them goes off. Two of them go off. It goes off prematurely. It lights something on fire. It just seems like so many things can go wrong for ultimately not like a crazy cool effect. Like there are other things you can do to get the same effect of like a big explosion. Even a confetti cannon can do a similar thing. But it's a cool idea. It looked cool.
When it's done well, it looks cool.
Yeah.
It's just like dancing on the cloud. Any of these things, there's lots of services out there. But I always try to find services that I can guarantee are going to go well. Mm-hmm. And if they don't go well, I'm like, we got to refund this. You know, we can't.
And that's the thing. He just offered them for free because they just got them.
So no harm, no foul. They got a free,
Yeah, it was a cool little thing.
Sparkler show during dinner.
Yeah.
Cool
All
idea.
The kids loved it.
A lot of bugs to work out, a lot of things planning-wise. And I'm glad that, we just don't, I don't want to assume any liability that's not mine. No. And it's the same with sometimes videographers, they'll plug in a recording device into our stuff. And generally, I just try to remind them, hey, if I can, press record. But I'm not responsible for that. It's not my job to record their stuff. It's not my, and I don't want to do something that deletes the file or messes up their thing in a way or doesn't. I don't want, if there's any blame for something not going well on their service with their company, I don't want to take any liability or responsibility for that.
No, or in the rarest case that it also breaks or something.
Oh, that's even worse. Yeah. But that's the same reason why we can't do, we got one coming up. They want us to, they asked if we had cold sparks. I was like, nope, we don't offer that because all of the recents, they literally can start fires. A lot of venues say you can't do them. And there's a lot of prep and cleaning work for it to go well. And I don't want to do that.
No, I don't. And also there has to be an area around them where there's nothing vertically. And it's also hard to find that in a fully flower decorated space. There's greenery everywhere at weddings.
Yeah. And there are places though that you can rent them. That's great. But then I'm not going to be setting those up because they're not my equipment. I'm not even going to be pressing the button. I'll point to you when it's time to press.
I'll give you the cue.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm responsible for as a DJ. Is you tell me, we kind of craft the night where that's going to be, what's going to happen, and I'm playing my music, and your person can press the button on the. I've had that with fireworks displays.
We want you with the lighter.
No, not that. But they'll have they want to sync it up with the music, and they'll have a whole thing, and So I'm like, okay, when we're ready, I'm letting you know, and I'll start the song, and I've done like the radio and they've had other ones where they literally
fireworks now.
It's sound activated, and I just plug in.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, right before we get started, I'll just plug in my cable, my out cable, and just that sort of thing.
That's really neat.
So it just depends, but I've done that once or twice. But again, I'm not the one going to. I'm just signaling them when I'm starting the music, and then they are responsible for shooting off the fireworks.
Absolutely.
But anyway.
What about you? What are some things that you thought went poorly this year? Things that we could improve on?
It never ceases to amaze me how rude people can be, just with their song requests, with trying to take over the dance floor, with all of their asks.
There's really sometimes there is such a sense of entitlement at a wedding, just in the air. I had someone come mess with my equipment and just my volume and stuff, and that's you would never pick up a photographer's camera and take a picture. It just blows my mind. Just small things like that.
Yeah, it's a violation of personal boundaries and space, and you're opening yourself up to damaging their stuff, ruining the stuff. What if they deleted a photo that was crucial for the
Yeah, because they didn't like how they looked in it or something.
Yeah, I mean, people all the time they'll put their drinks on our table or spill drinks on our equipment. Yeah, Chris had that. There was an accident where somebody spilled a drink on his board, and that's messed up his board.
His whole left channel won't work anymore.
So, but yeah, that to me is always the things that can go wrong is the human factors.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. It's you deal with some people like that, and then you also deal with some really, really great crowds that never request a song. They are out on the dance floor the entire time, just having a rager, and you're like, oh, this is awesome.
Oh, this is a fun job.
This is a fun-ass job. Yeah. And then, you get the occasional couple people that want exactly what nobody else will want. But
it's generally, honestly, my problem is most of it is really not with the couples. Most of the couples are very sweet.
Yeah.
Most of the couples are like, well, whatever you think is best, or this is the stuff we like. If you can work it in, great.
Yeah.
There are couples that are more intense about their asks and more very detailed. I'm fine with that, especially if you're going to be happy on the back end. Give me as details as you want. I'll make it happen.
Or as few. We want your day to be your day. And if you're comfortable with me making some of those decisions, great. And if you're not, great. If you want to make all of the choices and plan it down to the second, we'll do that.
Yeah, I want it to be a collaboration, obviously.
But there should be a middle ground there.
I want it to be a collab because, this is you planning your wedding, and you're an expert on that. You figuring out
what you want,
your vision, what you want, the way you want it to go. I am an expert on performing at weddings and DJing at weddings, and I want to use my knowledge and my experience to help you make that the best thing it could be. Absolutely. And there's a lot of ways to do that. I've had a lot of conversations in the podcast in the past about this, that work together. It should be a collaboration, should be a conversation.
Agreed.
And so, I think mostly all of our couples were very collaborative. And to me, the more negative aspects of this were just guests getting too drunk, people coming up, getting upset about the music, wanting the music to be different or wanting their song to be played next. But most of it went really well. There was way more dancers and people having fun than there were complainers.
Absolutely.
There was way more couples who were just super sweet and kind and fun to work with than there were couples who were just negative and it's a big day. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of details. There's the family aspect always blows my mind how you can have I always say sometimes there's really sweet couples and their guests are just mean and nasty. And sometimes the couple can be kind of intense and mean and their guests are the sweetest, kindest. And sometimes you get both where they're just, everybody's cool. Everybody's going to have fun. We're all here to celebrate this couple. That's how it should be.
I think that's also kind of what makes this job fun.
You never know.
you show up every day and it's different.
Yeah.
Every single wedding is so drastically different, but my job stays generally the same, but the people watching and just watching how different families interact with the new family that their children are marrying into. I think that's so fascinating. I think that's such a cool part about our job.
There's a lot of ways to define success. And, especially at a wedding. And a lot of people say, oh, well, full floor all night. Well, of course, that's one.
Yeah.
People having fun, that's one. That doesn't necessarily mean they had to dance to have fun. you can have a fun time just hanging out, talking, listening to music in the background. You can have a fun time at the photo booth. You can have a fun time, having a cigar with the buddies outside or whatever, or playing a drinking game, or I don't know.
I did like an old school rock wedding where it wasn't a big dance. There was a fire pit and a cigar bar and like a bunch of stuff going on outside. It was at Sandy Pines, so it's already like halfway outside. Right? Is that the one that's...
Yeah.
No,
Sandy Pines is outside, yeah.
So we were there, and it was great. And like they wanted background like 70s rock music, and we got a great review. So many people came up and said like this is the best music they've heard, but they weren't dancing.
Yeah.
But they had an amazing time because it was the wedding they wanted.
But if you judge that on the success of
the
wedding,
dance floor, I mean that's
been
totally
that would have
different
been a bad metric to
Yes.
judge the success of that wedding.
Yes.
And I saw a DJ online talk about this in a DJ group, and he said it's kind of like basketball. There's a lot of ways to score points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. But you don't measure success by... You get a lot of three-pointers, right? That's great. That's the most points for a single basket. But you can also get with free throws, layups, dunks. I mean, there's so many ways to score points.
Absolutely.
And not all of it is going to work the same way every game. And you have different strategies for how you measure that success. And you work ideally as a team.
It's a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah, especially the three-pointer. Like, right? If you could just make a three-pointer every time, why not? Just
great.
Unlimited.
In an ideal world, yeah, sure. But sometimes you got to drive it up.
Yeah, and rebound and lay up.
Make some
and draw the foul and get the extra
points
point
here, little points there.
Yes, there's a lot of strategy and ways to measure the success of a team working together towards that goal.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think as long as your couple's happy and most of the guests are happy, of course, if the venue's happy, the vendors are happy. There's a lot of people you got to keep happy.
A lot of people you got to please. A lot of people you got to please on a wedding.
I mean, looking forward, goals. I mean, we talked a little bit about the metrics, about booking gigs and sales and reviews, and obviously adding to our team, developing our team.
Yeah, adding to our team.
Developing the podcast more.
I want to do 50 gigs.
50 gigs. I love that.
I did like 28 this year, so doubling.
Okay, let's do it.
That's exactly what I want to do.
Let's friggin' go.
Maybe more. We'll see towards the end of the year if we score a couple more. But that's my goal, is to do 50.
I love it. I'm this close. I'm gonna buy a van because I'm so tired of loading that Honda Fit. So I'm this close. I've picked out the van. Just a little bit more money saved.
The Honda Fit was reliable.
She's been great. The Honda is gonna fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything always fit. It's such a tiny little car.
Yeah. It's crazy how much. But honestly, that car, I mean, it's got me through so many gigs, so many weddings, and it just keeps rocking, keeps going, and I'm grateful for it because it really designed my business around everything can fit in a small car. And I took the mobile DJ, the mobile part very seriously.
Absolutely.
Get in, get out.
It fits in mine. I love when people are like watching me pack up and they're like, is it all going to fit in there?
It's
like,
gonna
you
fit.
Really stuffed all in there.
Yeah.
Like, I know. Trust me. I've been packing this
like a clown car.
For years.
People are like, how is he going to do it? Watch me.
Watch me. In my car, it's funny. The way everything has to fit is my back seat. I don't have to lay it down, but I have to unlatch it.
Yeah.
It needs like extra 2 inches of space for me to push forward.
That's it.
That's it, and everything fits.
I'm the same way with the Fit, Like everybody who works with me knows because there's a certain way to load it. And then there's another way to load it if you have even more equipment.
Or the bigger equipment. Yeah.
Yes.
There's 2 configurations. Exactly.
But it's always fun playing Tetris every wedding.
Right? Mine only has 1 configuration, and I tried to even change the way in the back. It's like my two towers, and then the actual booth, like the middle stand piece. And I just tried to swap their sides. And the one side is like the double seat, and the one side is just like the small seat. Even if you swap them, nothing fits.
Doesn't matter.
It has to be the one way.
There's only one true way.
One true way. And if I have photo booth, I can't drive somebody. It has to go on my front
they have
seat.
to go. Yeah, someone else will have to.
They have to meet me there.
That's always
or they have to pick up the photo booth and meet me there.
That's it.
I usually will just have it anyway.
Yeah.
If they offer, that's nice.
Yeah. Same with when we did dinner on vinyl. I'm like, if I have vinyl, I got monogram, I got photo
booth in front. Yeah.
This is gonna be a tight one.
It's going on your lap.
Yeah.
So. We got a 2-hour ride. Good luck.
Oh my god.
Full package. Strap in.
Well, yeah, guys, we're really looking forward to it. We appreciate everyone listening. Last year, thank you so much for your support and all our avid listeners. We're going to keep doing this, and we're looking forward to 2025, and hope you are too, and we will see you at your wedding.
We'll see you there.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.